The Ashes are returning to Rugby League. The Ashes Test Series is a staple in the cricketing world, starting in 1882, putting England and Australia head-to-head in a 3-match series to determine who is the better country. This same series used to be a major part of the Rugby League international calendar, with a total of 39 series being played over the last century, starting in 1908, with Australia dominating the most recent years, winning the last 13 series in a row. The interest for the Test Series started dwindling away, causing the tournament to be cancelled. Until earlier this year, it was announced that the Ashes would be returning. I bet a lot of you younger viewers out there didn't even know that Rugby League Ashes were even a thing. So for the first part of this video, I thought it would take us on a trip down memory lane, and then after, I'll discuss what is to be expected from the revival of this historic international event. Let's begin. The Rugby League Ashes began in 1908. This is the same year that Australia played its first ever international rugby league match during a tour of England. Heavily inspired by the cricket Ashes, the Rugby League series had taken the same name and format, with a best of 3 series to determine which is the better nation. If a series was a tie, a deciding 4th match would be arranged, such as the time this occurred in 1930 after a rare 0-0 draw in the 3rd Test. The Ashes quickly became a symbolic battle for dominance between the 2 Rugby League nations. While the Ashes taking place at the end of this year will be determined between the 2 countries of Australia and England, this wasn't always the case. The English side was originally known as the Northern Union 13. Then after that, in 1922, they went by the Lions. Then in 1948, the team was known as Great Britain, which included players from England, Scotland, Wales, and later introduced Northern Ireland players to their roster. As for Australia, a few Ashes series that were played in the early 1900s that were played in England, they were named as Australasia, which included players from New Zealand. The first Ashes Test was played on December 12, 1908, at the Park Royal Garden in London. Although Australia lost the inaugural series, it marked the beginning of a tradition that would span nearly 100 years. Throughout the early decades, the Ashes matches were intense and physically demanding, often influenced by harsh travel conditions and the rough nature of the sport. The teams were comprised of the finest talents of the era, and early matches helped build the foundation of rugby league's popularity in both nations. The mid-20th century is often described as the golden era for the Rugby League Ashes. Between the 1930s and the 1970s, the series became the most prestigious and eagerly awaited event in the international rugby league calendar. Great Britain enjoyed their dominance in the early part of this period, claiming multiple Ashes series wins, with legendary players like Gus Risman, Billy Boston, and Roger Millward. The 1950s and 60s feature some of the most iconic tours in rugby league history. The 1958 Ashes, for example, is remembered for the fierce 3rd Test at Headingley, where Britain secured the series in front of a massive home crowd. However, by the 1970s, the tide began to shift. Australia emerged as a rugby league superpower, with players like Arthur Beetson, Graham Langland, and later Wally Lewis leading the charge. The fierce rivalry was not only confined to the playing field. The media coverage, fan engagement, and nation pride elevated the series in both nations. From 1973 onward, Australia entered an extended period of dominance, under coaches like Frank Stanton, Bob Fulton, and Wayne Bennett, and with world-class players entering the field, like Mal Meninga, Brad Fittler, Andrew Johns, and Darren Lockyer. The Kangaroos would end up winning a record-breaking 13 consecutive Ashes series from 1973 to 2003. And 2003 was the last time this tournament was held. Despite Australia's dominant win streak, the matches remained competitive and physical, but the consistent success of the Australians led to a loss of interest in the UK. The 1982 and 1986 Kangaroo Tours, which was dubbed as the Invincibles and the Unbeatables respectively, were especially one-sided, with Australia completing undefeated tours of Great Britain and France. Despite the dominance, individual matches retained their drama. The 1990 Ashes series was particularly memorable, with Great Britain claiming a rare victory in the first Test at Wembley, before ultimately losing the series 2-1. The 2003 Ashes series, hosted in England, is marked as the last time the series was officially held. This could be regarded by some as the greatest Rugby League Ashes series ever. Despite Australia sweeping the series 3-0, all 3 games were very competitive, with a 22-18 win in Game 1, then a 20-23 win in Game 2, then with the scores at 12-all with 1 minute to go in the third game. Luke Ricketson goes over to score the game-winning try, with the score ending at 18-12. After this series, with England fed up and overall interest in the series dropping, the competition entered an indefinite hiatus. Until earlier this year, it was announced that after 22 years, the Ashes will be making a return, reviving the international rivalry, with Australian Rugby League Commission Chairman Peter V'landys saying, "We are proud to revive one of the greatest rugby league traditions with the first Ashes series and Kangaroo Tour of England in 22 years. The series has made previous attempts to return, most notably being 2020 and 2024, where they were both cancelled due to COVID restrictions and other scheduling issues. The Kangaroos Tour is an iconic part of rugby league folklore and have always delivered thrilling contests. The current generation of Kangaroos players have never experienced the magic of a Kangaroo Tour, and I'm delighted that they'll have a chance to cement their own legacy alongside the great players. This will be the first Kangaroo Tour of England in 22 years, and will surely excite fans from the northern and southern hemispheres. This year will also include the first time Women Ashes will take place. They are set to play parallel with the men's series. While this is their first Ashes series, it isn't the first time the women have played internationally, with both teams playing each other in 1996 and 2002. The women's game is experiencing rapid growth, with increased participation, expanding competitions, and record-breaking attendances each year. The Women Ashes series is expected to further elevate the profile and competitiveness of women's international rugby league. Alongside the men's and women's teams, the Wheelchair Ashes Tour will take place as well, although the format will be a bit different. There are a total of 4 games, with the first 2 being played by the Australian states, New South Wales and Queensland. Each individual state will get a chance to play England, with the New South Wales game being played in Sydney, with the Queensland game being played on the Sunshine Coast. After these games, they'll combine as Australia and then go up against England with 2 test matches to be played. England are favourites to win the Australian tournament due to their recent World Cup win, and the last time the English wheelchair team toured Australia was in 2019 and dominated, beating the Wheelaroos 84-28 and 58-20. Martin Coyd OBE, the general manager of England Wheelchair Rugby League, said, "We're excited to have confirmation of the Ashes Tour at the end of the year. We're especially pleased to be touring the year ahead of our World Cup defence, as the Ashes series will raise the profile of wheelchair rugby league in Australia. This is definitely the ideal time to bring back such an iconic series due to the growing interest in the sport, with the NRL doing their Las Vegas round for the next few years, and just there generally being more international eyes on the sport. The first game for the men's is set to kick off on the 25th of October in London. Be sure to set your calendar to watch the return of the Ashes series in Rugby League. Thanks for watching."